magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What's up, everyone? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's Transformers Slag Podcast on our live stream main event. I'm your host, Proto Man. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday. It is Saturday. Sorry about that. There was a little bit of a hiccup. We had a little bit of a electrical surge. We had a snowstorm this morning here in good old Montreal. It's almost March. We still have snow. But how we all doing? Hope everyone could hear me well. And we're going to do another Saturday Night live stream. Talk about the news, some new updates here and there. Take some super chats from the fans. We got a box of stuff in the P.O. box, the Transformers Slag Podcast P.O. box. So we'll crack that open. Little things here and there that came from the king of the blockies, Mr. Michael Koo, and some other stuff too. So yeah. But how are we doing? TF Twins, one of my patrons, still getting snowstorms in Quebec, Proto. Everything is melting already here in Ontario. Well, I am jealous. It was weird because I wanted to go do grocery shopping this morning and woke up in the morning, my car was completely covered. Yesterday wasn't too bad, but I know I find when the weather gets warmer, that's when snow starts coming. But yeah, who else do we got? We got Victory Sal. How you doing? What's up? What's up? Big Easy. We got Autovolt, one of my patrons. You got Star Warrior, one of my patrons. Patrick Brown. Rudy Mac. How you doing? Mateus, one of my patrons. Who else? We got Prince and Phalanx. What's up? Fair Lady Z, one of my patrons. Fawnheart, how you doing? Proto time. Will Murphy, I know everyone's still popping in now. Decepticon for life, how you doing, my friend? James, Tucker, Ylagy. Everyone's slowly coming back now because we had to do the big reset. Michael Butcher and the crew. Everyone's slowly coming back now since the reset. But yeah, so let's cover some news. We got this and that to cover, a few things here and there. We'll start it off before we get into it. That whole AI thing that I talked about yesterday. It was very interesting because I was really curious to see the reactions of it because this topic has come up so many times in different circles that I've talked in. And in those different circles, you have corporate guys, and then you have, much more down on the food chain, unfortunately, the creative guys. And I constantly see these varying different opinions, but the one that I always want to see is that of the people too, because I'm always curious, what camp a lot of people are. And if you looked at the comments of the segment that we did yesterday, it was kind of split down the middle. There was people that are like, absolutely not. I hate AI. It's the worst thing ever. And then there's people that are like, I welcome my AI overlords, and this is just the way the future is going to be. And it's exactly as I imagined. It's something where it's not so cut and dry. Again, me personally, not a big fan of it because, the things that I do in my world are created by real people. And I see all the time AI comic books, AI written material, and just even in this space here, AI podcasts and AI YouTube segments. Like there is 2 to 3 different Transformer channels that do the same thing I do, but use AI to do it. It's literally an AI voice, and it's probably AI scripts, and it's, generated AI images because they say something, but the images that's put on the screen doesn't match what's being said. It's kind of a sad reality, especially in the YouTube sphere, even of what's going on. But that's why I kind of wanted to talk about it yesterday, because it's a touchy subject. And, what I saw is such a slice of what the Transformer live action movies are, which is these high fidelity animated scenes that, require so many people and millions of dollars. And almost one of the biggest weaknesses of Transformer movies is the budget. Like we look at something like, let's ignore Transformers 1 and what we might get next year. But Rise of the Beasts made like $400 million and it was considered a financial flop because it took $200 million to make it. And it's something where if they could have like made that 100 million or 50 million or who knows what, it wouldn't have been considered a flop. And that's the sad reality is I get a feeling Hollywood studios are going to lean more into that. And I think as AI gets better and better, our discerning eye will not be able to tell. I mean, wouldn't it be crazy? Here's a little like tinfoil hat. Wouldn't it be crazy if this AI technology was always around and Paramount's been using it all this time with these? Because I mean, that's why I said go watch that transforming Dinobot footage. Those transformations are something straight out of the Michael Bay, you know, playbook. It has just everything's shifting and melting and moving and gearing. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Uh, Twins Corner, it was a segment I talked about yesterday. I linked it also in the description of yesterday's segment. When you get a chance, go check it out and file in your complaints if you wish. But yeah, it was something I just kind of wanted to throw out there because I feel as sad as it is, I feel like it's going to be a part of our future. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I really hope it isn't. But at the same time, I know how companies are, and I feel like it's going to be a part of that. They're going to take that route because I can't say who I talked to because people were asking me after I did my segment yesterday. They're like, "Who is the CEO that you talked to?" I'm like, I can't say it. But this is an older individual. That's all I'm going to say. He's an older guy, so his opinions are a lot more get rid of get rid of the costs. Let's not worry about the morals of it. We need to meet quotas. And that was an unfortunate truth. And I feel like he's probably going to go in that direction, which is not great. Look, full transparency. I'll grab an example. I wish I had a studio series example here. I have one here. But full transparency, like, you got to understand something, guys. I used to do copy on the back of Transformer boxes back in the day, you know? Uh, Combiner Wars, early age, not Power of the Primes stuff. Copy was me. Now they get AI to do it. Some guy at Hasbro is in charge of copy, and they just put in a bunch of prompts, and then Google just goes straight to whatever wikis or information that's out there, and they put something together, and 9 times out of 10, it gets it right. And that one time is Studio Series 86 Jazz, the reissue, where it pulled information from movie jazz. And they still make mistakes to this day. They needed screen caps of Soundwave. AI just took YouTube screen caps and forgot to block out the YouTube timelines. So it's unfortunately already kind of melting into the corporate America of Transformers. It's just that we've caught it. But how long has been going on where we didn't know? You know, who knows? Who knows? Good morning, Ninjatron. Media Max Proto, you still think Transformer movies could ever try to incorporate more practical effects with green screen? Well, I mean, if you talk practical effects with green screen, you could talk like the final battle of let's say Infinity War Endgame, or maybe some of the early prequel Star Wars stuff under George Lucas. That still kind of was like a lot of green screen with practical. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, the problem is our hobby, our lore, our fiction is if it's going to be live action or if it's going to be big budget movie, it's going to rely on CG. And CG is directly tied to computers and prompts and potentially the use of AI without us even knowing. I mean, if you would have told me like 10 years from now, oh, by the way, that opening scene from the Bumblebee movie with all the Autobots and the Decepticons on Cybertron? Yeah, that was actually all done with an early form of AI. You just didn't know it yet. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. It's just, it's like, what does the public get access to, which is C-Dance 2.0 as of this month, as opposed to what did Hollywood studios have for the past 10 years? So I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I would not be surprised. But that's why I'm very curious. There's this side of me that's like, again, just looking at all the angles and just going like, what's going on here? Like, what's going on here? And what could we potentially be seeing in the future without even knowing it? It's again, it's a deeper discussion that, in all honesty, is out of my pay grade because I don't. The closest thing I've ever used to AI, no joke, if you want to even consider it AI, is I have a plugin on Photoshop that when I put an image in, it gets rid of the background. Some might argue that's AI. That's probably the closest I've ever used to AI in my life because it uses artificial intelligence to figure out, okay, that's the background, this is the foreground, we're going to keep this and get rid of that. And it's a plugin on my Photoshop that I use for backgrounds and stuff like that. And I consider that AI, but that's probably about as close as it gets to that. Otherwise, I don't think I've ever used it. I used it once for fun to animate a picture of my wife eating ramen or something. You know, the early AI when there was prompts that could do that, but I never used it since. Mostly because I always worry if I'm putting an image of my wife through an AI thing, are they now owning a picture of my wife? Oh no. What have I done? What have I done? Snell's World. Wow, just learned about the Toontown G2 Korean Optimist. Oh, you're talking about the G2 block sets and everything back in the day. But yeah, so let's get into some news. Just kind of wanted to cover that on the top of it because I know it was definitely a huge thing with that. But I mean, I personally feel that I'm just not a fan of it. I think that like anything in life, everything that you are good at should be worked for and earned. Meaning if you're really good at drawing, that should be the sum of the mass of you working at it and working hard and getting it. If you're good at instruments, that should be the sum of the mass of you practicing with a guitar and being good at. If everything comes easy, then nothing is special. When you look at a musician that you respect or you look at an artist that you respect, you're not only respecting what your eyeballs see, you're also respecting the hard work that they put in to get that far. If you know that anyone could just type in prompts and art could be instantly made and music could be instantly made and animation could be instantly made, who's special anymore? Who worked hard anymore? Who deserves the flowers? What is the point of the Academy Awards in the special effects division if it was just a guy who typed in things, you know? So it gets you know, it gets messed up a little bit. It really does. But not much more I could really say. I know everyone has their own opinions, but let's get into the news and we'll start first with some 3D printing of course. eHobby, longtime partner of Takara and the Transformers brand from a licensing and exclusives level. They've been going deeply into the 3D printing game and making all kinds of products through 3D printing. And they've made a line here called Chocon Formers, which is they're going to be making these SD style, about I'd have to say like an inch and a half figurines, non-transformable. They're going to be starting with a red Sunstreaker and a purple Soundwave, obviously red for Autobot, purple for Decepticons. And they plan to do an Optimus, a Galvatron, and many more in the future. This is their very first wave of them. They're sold in pairs of two for 650 yen, so about $5 USD. And these are going to be starting to go on sale as of yesterday. So it's interesting to see the 3D printing space, even from professional companies and what they plan to do with that. Now, I've seen already a lot of desktop, you know, board games and stuff embracing the 3D printing space and stuff like that, like a Warhammer or any kind of like D&D Hero Quest. And, you know, eHobby also kind of dips into that a little bit with their non-transformer stuff. So I'm very curious where this is going to go. But I know that just recently, Wonder Festival, there was a lot of 3D printed stuff for statues and garage kits and everything like that. So it is interesting. It is interesting. So there's that. Then we got this hotness. So, Action Toys and their Farai Action series, they originally put out RC and Windblade as model kits. Now they're going to be putting these same sculpts and articulation and everything as high-end action figures that are saucy as hell. Giggity. We got RC and Windblade here. These are going to be $89.99, $90. The RC is going to be shipping out in July of this year. The Windblade will be August. And pre-orders are up right now across all different retailers. You could find it. Hey, I have no problem with this stuff, but I also don't get easily offended by things, including the female form. Um, and as someone who actually believes that this female form does exist in real life, despite what individuals might tell you, I live with one. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great. And look, the fact that they're doing this after the RC and Windblade model kit tells me these stuff sold well. And numbers speak more than emotions. Numbers speak more than emotions. Master Roshi from Dragon Ball had a banger of a quote. If you live your life always living a lie, then the truth hits even harder. And you can live a lie believing this stuff is bad, but the truth is going to hurt you a lot more if you live that lie. So yeah, check these out. $89.99, $90. Pre-orders up right now. Again, July will be for RC, and the City Speaker of Windblade will be in August. Check them out, yo. What a booty hole. Speaking of stuff that bounces, we got our soccer ball Optimus breakaway. We got some new stock images here. This is the back of the packaging. Not much really we could talk about with this guy. All I could say is I'm looking at Primus Planetoid future partial at some point. That's all I gotta say. That I'm looking at Primus here one day. Telling you. That's all I could see. Ashnud, that's the Windblade I have in my display. Well, Ashnud, you don't let anyone tell you how to feel, and I'm proud of you. And same thing with Fawn Art, has both those model kits. Don't ever listen to the masses, the screaming crazies. Do what makes you happy. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, my man? Do what makes you happy. And let's just always say, if these didn't sell well, they'd stop very quickly. It's always how it is, you know? But yeah, very cool little Primus-esque figure. I'm telling you, if Hasbro never does do it, you know there's going to be a whole bunch of kit bashers that will. Every year, TFCon used to have like a 3D contest and custom contests and stuff like that. And I used to see some crazy talented stuff. Stuff like this probably would have showed up all the time. All the time. So check that out. That's going to be popping really soon. I wonder if they're going to do a Megatron version. We'll see how well this one sells. It is, again, something I feel that's pre-tooled in a lot of way for something else. Let's talk about seeing some more images of our Haslab. So here is the final box, front and back, of Haslab Lio Kaiser. And yeah, it's the box for Lio Kaiser. It's got Lio Kaiser on the front. Here's some new stock images. Yeah, I just want to get this guy in hand already. Do we have someone in the chat? Do we have a date on this? Because I know they've been kind of like quiet on when this is going to be showing up in PO boxes or whatever. They always send me a sample, but I always find that the sample comes like a month after everyone gets it. So that's why I'm kind of curious. When am I going to get this late compared to everyone else? But otherwise, yeah, here it is. It's all about that Death Cobra, in my opinion, and having a kill bison that doesn't crumble to pieces. But that's a whole other conversation. Do we know when Lio Kaiser? They said fall. Okay, well, I don't know. It feels like it's been a while. No update on the shipping. Yeah. So I guess we're still going to have to wait. We will see. We will see. We will see. We'll probably get more info on it. But yeah, stay tuned for more on Lio Kaiser at some point. When did we get Deathsaurus was fall. Unicron I remember was in summer. I don't remember when Star Saber was, and I don't remember when because I completely forget the dates of the Omega Prime because we had the returns and the debacles and all that nuttiness. I never returned mine, but it kind of made me forget when all the dates were. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Speaking of big old combiners that have a little bit of DNA related to Transformers Victory, we also have Monstructor, to the surprise of no one, although I am happy to see that the alt modes and the robot modes are extensive retools of what we got from the Dinobots and Dino King. I think it looks cool. And again, as someone that owns the original and the GPS nightmare that is the original, I always welcome anything that gives people an opportunity to own the character without the drama. And it's the same irony. Lio Kaiser has a GPS nightmare in Land Bison, and then you got Bristleback and a little bit of Slog with Monstructor here. Definitely Bristleback. Bristleback is scary. Like, well, you can barely see him. You can only see one of this box is covering it. They're all behind here. There's the pretender shells for them. But I mean, I'm always like, ooh, transforming this guy and putting him in the individual robot modes is you're playing with fire. So getting this one here updated, no problems, no mess, articulation, extra weapons more than the original had. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Judging by the box, a Gen Selects Hasbro Pulse, possibly. You know, people were saying in the comments, oh, but, it's not going to be Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Well, yes and no. It depends on region. If you have a GameStop, they'll usually carry these, but sometimes they won't. So it is something that usually it will be Hasbro Pulse, how most people will pick this up. But it will fall probably under the Gen Selects kind of thing. It doesn't have the packaging that suggests something like a HasCon or Hasbro PulseCon or that of a San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego exclusives, whatever they're going to have, is a lot more fancier in the box and open-ended, not so much closed, because they rely heavily on people at the show seeing the product and making that decision right there and then, and they need something that does have a window and really show the product. Kind of the mistake that they've made in the past with some SDCCs is a closed box with just some art, and it didn't sell too well, unfortunately. But yeah, I dig it. I think it's cool. Again, I'm always of the mind that if it gives an opportunity for people to own a version of a character that literally has been gate kept into one release, and that one release came out 35 years ago, I'm always for it. Like, well, if there's a new Mirage figure and it's another G1 Mirage, it's less of me going like, oh, that's great. It's just kind of like, okay, it's another Mirage. But like, Monstructor, again, this is all in the way, all the symbiote stuff, but Monstructor is one of those that either you own the original and you roll the dice on the problems that it has just due to its age. And I mean, what does a complete Monstructor go for now? Probably like easily over $100 to $200 if the GPS hasn't gotten it already. So very cool. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. And last thing we're going to be covering is JT Prime dropped some new listings in our lap just 24 hours ago of some potential exclusives products, meaning these will be segmented into exclusive natures in different areas. Probably the capsule that we're seeing here is going to be a Walmart thing, and the other stuff will be probably stuff that's Gen Selects and Hasbro Pulse exclusives. So potentially maybe retail, we don't know yet. If it is retail, it might be a Target exclusive or something. But number one, we have a Generations Prime. Again, this is supposed to be Generations as a brand, Power of the Primes. And then we got a Leader Class Mega Zarek which is an Armada Megatron redeco that was originally a BotCon exclusive, which was taking the original Aaron Archer Armada Megatron and giving it some red and blacks and purples in different areas, giving it the Mega Zarek name, which was a throwback to the Japanese name of Scorponok. And that was that. So now they're going to be taking our brand new Armada Megatron leader class sculpting and giving it that color treatment. And once again, a character, a version of a character that if you wanted it, you're talking a $500 BotCon exclusive. That was the only way you could get it. And now you're going to be able to get this. Once again, I love that kind of stuff. It always makes me happy when people get those opportunities. So fantastic. And again, that new Armada Megatron mold is really great. So to get it updated too is fantastic. It just won't have the minicon. That's the only negative. Uh, Aaron Archer says, "Nice redeco Armada Megs." Yep, that's going to be coming, Aaron. You own the original, and if you ever want to sell it, let me know. But you own the original. Then you have the Gen Selects multi-pack Voyager Ironhide Deluxe Blue Streak and Deluxe Mirage. This is something that's just more. Chances are, by the time this product, this box set comes out, and it's going to be obviously a web exclusive through Hasbro Pulse. I get a feeling it'll probably be out a year or something, or 6 months from now. Obviously, distancing itself from what we got in terms of Kingdom Mirage or the Earthrise Blue Streak or the Studio Series 86 Ironhide. They'll probably give it an extensive screen accurate deco across the three of them, and that'll be that. We've been seeing Autobot 5 packs. We've been seeing just them really leaning into and milking a lot of these toolings that maybe they just felt they didn't get enough out of them. And that being said, some people that maybe didn't get them yet in some shape or form. So that's the way I see it, you know. And if you didn't get Ironhide or Blue Streak or, good old Mirage, here's another opportunity. If you already got them, hey, you saved yourself some money. Snell World Proto, do you have a Brave Yusha Great Golden in your collection? It looks amazing. I do not have Grade Goldran, unfortunately. Of the Goldran stuff, I think the only one I have is that, what's the ambulance called? And it's one piece of the combiner team. And I'm not talking about Duke Fire. What's that one called? Because I would, in the early days of BotCon, I remember Azusa, Hydra, and a few of the other Japanese guys would always bring like loose, incomplete Brave stuff, and they'd have it for like pennies on the dollar. And whenever I had leftover money, this is when I was like working at Burger King, going to BotCon with barely any money. If I had like $5 left, I wanted to make sure I spent that $5. I didn't want to waste it, like bring it back home. Like, oh, I got 5 USD left. And I'd go to like Azusa's table or Andrew's table, Hydra. And if they had like a mini con for $5 or this or that. So I would always pick up the odd Brave this and Brave that. And I have quite a few interesting mix of Brave stuff throughout the years. But Goldron, Goldron, I don't have many of. I don't have many of them. Those were all the chromey stuff, which, in my opinion, I don't know, was a little less appealing to me. Although the ambulance had like that silvery kind of look to it. You get the name of that one, man. But yeah. Thank you for the question, Snell's World. But yeah, so there's that. And then we have this Energon capsule. This is supposed to be rumored a Walmart exclusive, although don't quote me on it. This could also be Target. But a capsule is definitely going to be associated with some kind of major big box retailer. And despite it being called Energon, what JT describes here is not Energon, aka Superlink, aka the 2003, 2004 Unicron trilogy series. This is more of like kind of what Cyberworld is doing, where it's like, hey, let's just do translucent redecos of previous molds because they're powered by Energon. And so you got Dark Energon Megatron, which is the Siege Minor Megatron reuse, but now with translucent blacks and purples. And then you're going to have the Energon Optimus, which is a Voyager class using the Siege Optimus, but in, translucent blues. And Cybertronics, which is supposed to be a Siege 6-gun retool, I guess. And Cybertread, we're seeing use of that slammer mold again from Kingdom. So it's really that, you know what I mean? Is that silver ambulance that is fully stickered? Ugh, Aaron, you're gonna make me get up and get it, aren't you? One moment, guys. I'll go get it. I will go get it. One moment. Transformer. Oh man, I'm gonna knock every. No, I ain't getting it. I took one look. I took one look of how deep it is in the display, and I was like, "Yeah, that ain't happening." Oh God, I have like a whole bunch of Gal Geiger guys all wedged around them, and I'm like, "Yeah, that ain't happening." You could. Oh God, I wish you could kind of show. So around there is my car robots section, and then right under it is my Brave stuff. You could kind of barely see that wing there. That's the wing of Shadow Maru, which is the 6-shot retool. So yeah, I I'm getting it. But yeah, it had a lot of stickers on it and stuff. It was a silver ambulance, had a big wing in the back. No, I'm not bothering. Second I opened the display and I looked, I was like, "Oh, stuff's going to get knocked over." Especially because that's near the GoBot display. And let me tell you something, the most fragile section out of all of this, G1 across the years, the GoBot section is like dominoes. You knock over one GoBot, they all fall over. They are all hanging by a prayer. They really are. Like because they all stand up straight and they're all waiting to just fall over. It is crazy with GoBots. And I love my GoBots. I think they're great. I have a beautiful GoBot display. But every time I set them up, if one falls over, they all fall over. It's crazy. G1, those big old peg feet. You look at G1 Jazz with his big old rear car feet. He ain't going nowhere. You know, he ain't going nowhere. But yeah, so whole bunch of translucents. That's what it kind of is. I don't know who this is for, in all honesty. The only thing I could say is they clearly tricked a retailer into taking this. It's like, hey, Walmart, want more exclusives? Okay. Yeah, hey, we got a bunch of tooling that we need to use that we haven't used enough. Like we haven't used enough of that Optimus mold and that Megatron mold. And do translucents. And then, hey, now Walmart's going to be stuck with it or Target. Tom Laney, GoBots are always loosey goosey. Yeah, that's the problem. Like a lot of times, like it's very hard to get them to stand up and like you display a bunch of them and then one in the front falls over and just knocks them all down and you're like, well, there goes half an hour of work. Um, one time I had, no joke, I had my display that one of the doors open and then Butters was just like, hey, what's going on here? And he went into the display and he just knocked everything over. I was like, well, that's life. But yeah, so that's going to be a capsule. Stay tuned for that. We'll get more info on it. JT Prime has some other info that we're going to probably be talking about later next week too. So stay tuned for it. Same thing also next month, March 12th and to the 14th is going to be the Walmart Collector Con. So chances are this might fall into that if it is the Walmart exclusives. So again, Walmart Collector Con will be the 12th to the 14th of March. We'll see. Also kind of overlaps with another big Transformer thing. You take a guess what that is in a weekend, but stay tuned for that. Fawn Heart, I have the TF Prime Dark Energon Deluxe figures. Well, you have the original ones, which were also translucent. Those were Big Bad Toy Store exclusives back in the day. Those did not sell well. Those did not sell well at all. I remember for years Craig and the crew from Big Bad Toy Store bringing those to multiple BotCons and still having cases of them. I would not be surprised if BBTS probably still has cases of those. Ashnode, when I first saw this listing, I misread six shot as six gun. I was really excited. Well, unfortunately, that is not the case. And it would have been probably, think about it, if it was a six shot, it would have had to be that old Titan's Return mold, which made it a leader. So that's not the case. But that's more or less it for the news. Got a bunch of stuff that we'll talk about that we got in the PO box, but let's first talk sponsorship because TFCon is coming up hot and heavy, and we will be at TFCon. I don't know where exactly my base of operations will be in the room because Aaron will not be there this year, but I will try to figure out something as we get closer to it. We will have a TFCon exclusive that will be exclusive to the podcast members. So that is something that will be available at the show. We'll be announcing that maybe next week or the week after that. We'll see because we have to work out stuff. But there's that. We're going to try to bring a small stack of the comics and stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of things that we have planned. But again, the reason why we bring up TFCon is because Symbiote Studios will be there. They'll have their t-shirts. They'll have their plushes. I'm rocking their Optimus today, which you've seen probably many times also on the Hasbro Pulse live streams. I believe it was Evan that used to wear that shirt. But yeah, check it out. They're going to be there. They're going to be debuting, of course, Swoop, and you'll be able to get the Dinobots and everyone else too. They're going to have all the other good stuff. My Little Pony, the Magic the Gathering. Check it all out. Again, Symbiote Studios booth. Check them out. I would have liked to be at their booth, but there's not going to be enough space. It's going to be pretty crazy. I didn't get Symbiote Studio tattoo. No, the closest thing that Symbiote Studios is in this house is we have a white cat named Butters who doesn't wear a red bandana. That's about as close as it gets to a permanent fixture in Symbiote Studios outside of the plushes around the house and stuff. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, this is actually skin you're looking at here. It's been grafted. Then, of course, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. I am almost done a segment that I shot with Aaron. It's been a busy week. I did not expect that when my comic dropped on Wednesday. Apparently, I was lined up with a bunch of interviews I had to do. And then apparently there was a huge Japanese launch of the book. Like because they didn't get issue 0 in Japan, but they got issue 1. So that got like dropped over there. So I got really busy and I just want to finish up this segment of the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer because it's a really good one. I don't want to spoil what it is yet, but it is quite topical and a good insight into the creation of something very important for the Transformer brand. So stay tuned for that. But in the time being, go check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. If you like hearing me talk about toys, if you want to hear Aaron talk about toys, he's the one who made them. I'm just the one that played with them. So, go check it out. Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Go subscribe. Go watch some segments and go enjoy some Robots in Disguise and all the other stuff like that. And of course, go get yourself some Posca paintings. Aaron put up a really cool Energon Rodimus one up there. Really nice. His Bruticus one is cool. The Mega Head is on there also. A lot of really good ones. Go pick them up, yo. ArcherMonster.com/shop. Go pick yourself a 1-of-1 original painted Posca painting from Aaron Archer. And if you're interested, maybe even working out a commission, give him a private message. Maybe he could work something out with you and you could get yourself some good stuff. So check that out too, archermonster.com/shop. And of course, like I just said, Mega Man X #1 hit comic book stores just last Wednesday. It was a critical and commercial success. I am very proud of this book. This is the Storm Eagle story. And Hanzo's doing a great job. Man, looking forward to you guys seeing the rest of what we have planned for the next 6 months or so. It's going to be pretty hype. And again, I'm going to try to bring a small number of timelines number 1, issue number 0, and then X issue number 1 to TFCon. I can't promise that I'll have a ton of them. I'm just going to bring as many as I could get for the time being, and that'll be that. I'll probably bring maybe the Don Figueroa covers if I could get a bunch of those, because that's Transformer adjacent, and having the Don Figueroa covers will be cool. And yeah, so stay tuned for that. Again, that'll be at TFCon LA. I do not know where I'm situated yet in the room. I will figure that out come TFCon day, unfortunately. And then you'll get an update on my Twitter or something of where it is, how we're set up, and everything like that. So stay tuned for that. And of course, Free Comic Book Day, but we'll talk about that in May. So that's all the sponsor stuff. Let's get into P.O. Box. Got quite a bit here. So good old Michael Koo, known as the king of the blockies. He recently donated a case of blocky stuff that will be present at TFCon Toronto, not TFCon LA coming out. TFCon LA does not have a charity auction, so this will be used for TFCon Toronto. There is a case of blockies that will be there donated by him, but he is the man. He sends a bunch of stuff. What he did send me though is because, like I told you, changeables are not available in good old Quebec, and we ruined it for everybody. So he sent me at least two of the designs thus far, Cap and the pterodactyl. So I got those. He got me some doubles of those. So I got those, which are pretty awesome. Just crack one open here, and they're pretty large. I mean, look how big these are. You know, there's the Cap. Very cool. And I'll get the pterodactyl one in a moment. Just want to show everything first. But yeah, got the cool box. Fun fact, in Quebec, we never get Happy Meal boxes because too much English on them. God forbid we have English. He sent a bunch of Lego stuff for the wife. My wife is obsessed with Lego and minifigs, and so he sent some bootleg Legos and real Legos and polybag Legos and all kinds of Legos. So thank you for that, Michael. She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it. And then this one here, this is a blind bag Mega Man micro block one. Don't know which character is in there. Wonder if it'll have Mister over here. We'll see. I'll be opening a lot of these up on a live stream or something in the future. Maybe usually what I do is the day before I fly out for a TFCon, usually I do a live stream because I'm not going to be doing a live stream during TFCon. So we'll probably do something like that. He also sent me a big old bag of these because he wants to kill me and live an unhealthy life. But hey, I'm not going to argue with the best chocolate bar in the planet, or well, candy bar, legally as they probably have to call it. Yeah, peanut butter caramel bar. Good old payday. Thank you, Michael, for that. And then I didn't get to see. Is this a full set of the new tiny turbo changers? Because that'd be pretty cool if they're in there, especially if the hot rod's in there. That'd be awesome. And then again, he's the king of the blockies. So he sent 4 cases of blockies. So we got these bad boys, the Wheels series, which hopefully there's a certain hot rod chase that might be in there. I doubt it, but we'll try. We will try with that one. Then we got Blockies Defenders, the Beast Wars wave. Very cool. This is probably the best wave of them all, in my opinion, but I have a bit of a bias. Then, of course, we got the new wave with Skyfire. Very cool. Again, also the Defenders version. And lastly, didn't expect this one. Maybe this is a little bit of Aaron Archer love. Batman. All the different Blockies Batman stuff. Have not gotten any of these, but there's an Adam West Batman and there's a Michael Keaton Batman. So that's enough for me to be happy. Yeah. That's pretty cool too. Because again, Michael is the king of the blockies. He's got his connections, he's got his know-how, and he knows what's up. So very, very cool stuff. Once again, thank you, Michael. And the TFCon charity auction also is very grateful to you for all your donations that go to a good cause, of course. Again, for people that aren't aware, the TFCon charity auction is for sick kids, which is part of the Make a Wish Foundation, where we, I'm just trying to put everything back here in the box, where we, if we're able to get $10,000 Canadian, but if we're able to get $10,000 Canadian, it's enough for the ability to give a make a wish. And the reason why it's 10,000 is because usually with these terminally ill children, they obviously don't travel alone. They'll have their family with them, siblings, father, mother, guardian, brother, whatever. So obviously they don't travel alone. So a plane ticket is more than one individual. And then, of course, whatever the make a wish is, if the make a wish is getting a whole bunch of paydays, if the make whatever the make a wish is, that also is factored into the cost. And TFCon every year is able to pull it off thanks to the donations of guys like Michael and guys like you that donate a bunch. And we're going to have a special item also. I can't say it now, but we have a very special item that's going to be auctioned, a very one of a kind item that's very special that will be auctioned at TFCon Toronto for the Make a Wish Foundation. So stay tuned for that too. I know Evan, who's our AV guy at Toronto, he'll record it. So people around the world will hear about it. Very, very cool stuff. But yeah, very, very cool. Cringe, more blocky wheels, please. Make animated and prime. Oh man, I would love blockies animated. Just do it in that Derek style. Oh my goodness, that'd be so cool. But so far, it looks like a lot of the wheel stuff so far is leaning IDW, but that could obviously change with demand. It could definitely change with demand for sure. But yeah, so there's all of that. A lot of crazy stuff in the mail. Again, this is the pterodactyl one. I just want to kind of again show you guys just how crazy these are. Like to give you context, and again, credit to McDonald's. McDonald's through over the past couple of years have been really being cheap when it comes to their Happy Meal toys. Like when they do good Happy Meal toys, it's always like their premium Happy Meal toys or their adult Happy Meal toys. And I mean, the old era of McChangeables were pretty large by today's standards, and they were pretty high quality ABS plastic, really good, very nice. And I was worried that the new ones were going to be like almost tiny bots level, like, using almost a PVC plastic that's much more malleable. No, man, this is the hamburger wrapped one. This is the Big Mac, the original from the 80s. And they went all out. Paint decos, high quality plastic. This feels like this is an MABS with a little bit of POM. It's not a hardcore like, high quality ABS like back in the day, but it's still pretty much there. And I'm really impressed what they've done with thus far. I can't wait to get the Fry guy and really compare it to like the original Fry guy, Fry Force as he was called back in the day. But I'm very impressed by these. These are very cool. I love the boxes that they come in. Again, I apologize for the rest of Canada. The reason why we didn't get them is because here, I'll just show you guys. I'm going to put this guy away. There's English all over the packaging, you know? So they can't, unfortunately, have it in Canada if there's no bilingual and there's blah, 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 the dinosaurs that we have here, you know? So, but very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you again, Michael. Hopefully, I could get the rest of them. I'm going to try to track them down if possible. But yeah, Furgon. Yeah. Or as he used to be known back in the day, Hot Cake Odactyl. That's what he was based on, the old Hot Cake Odactyl back in the day, who I have in the display. Be nice to be get some of the old throwback ones because I have all the old ones to get some of the new ones that are throwbacks to the old ones would be really cool. But yeah, so that's it more or less. Just got that big old box of crazy. Did a little bit of toy hunting today. Did not find anything. The only thing that I bought today really was there was this guy that was selling old Marvel trading cards, and I love non-sports. Like I love 90s non-sports trading cards. So I just kind of like bought some of those. He had a bunch of old Marvel cards, and I bought them for like nothing, like 50 cents a piece. So that was it. Nothing really special otherwise. So yeah, that's it more or less. That is it more or less. So let's open it up to super chats. How much time we got left? Oh, we got about an hour left. So we'll open it up to super chats and stuff like that. I mean, actually, here's a good example because I have one nearby. I was worried it wasn't going to be this size. I was worried it was going to be this size. Like bots. This is good old Burgertron. You know, I was so worried it was going to be like tiny because again, McDonald's toys today are not great. They really are not. They are a fraction of what they used to be, and rightfully so for them to make them like that because I think that they understand, especially more than ever today, that kids don't care about toys, and the toy that's included is literally a 5-minute dopamine hit. They get their hamburger, they get their plastic, MABS bootleg plastic toy. They play with it for 5 seconds, then it gets lost under the seat of the car, never to be seen ever again. And then one day it gets donated to like a thrift store because no one cares. And that's the sad reality when it comes to a lot of fast food stuff. Gone are the days of the McTorrins from Bionicles. These were some of the best. I mean, goodness, like the Batman, the animated series McDonald's set, which came with actual action figures of Catwoman, Batman, um, and Batgirl. The Spider-Man series from Spider-Man, the animated series, the Fox series, it had Doc Ock, Spider-Man, Mary Jane, and Peter Parker with like a flip change gimmick for his head. There was some crazy stuff. Yeah, there's a QR code. There's a QR code too here. Might as well put it on the screen. There's a QR code for a game apparently. Here, I'll just put that there for a moment. You guys could scan that. There you go. For a looks like a Fry Force game. So that's pretty cool. And then the QR code on this one here too. Come on, let's get some focus. Focus. I don't know. I can't get the focus. There you go. Hopefully that worked. But yeah, see, the problem with the Inspector Gadget Build-A-Figure is you have to understand the bigger picture of it. Yeah, it's cool that they have this giant Inspector Gadget Build-A-Figure, but imagine you're a kid who goes to McDonald's and you get just the arm, right? And then you come back next week and they still have the arm. So now you have two of the same left arm. So, and as a kid personally growing up, I never ever completed a McDonald's set when it was live in real time. So like the old Beast Wars set back in the day. I got Manta Ray. I got Panther. I got Beetle. Didn't get Rhino. Never showed up. Got Rhino years later. Same thing with the Transmetal set. I got Black Arachnia. I got Dinobot. Didn't get Scorponok. I think Scorponok was wave one, and maybe that's why I missed him, but didn't get Scorponok. Didn't get him until years later. The Beast Machines one was a cluster F. That was like 8 different figures I had to track down. Most of them I never got until years later. The Armada ones, it's the same thing. I think the last one I got was Demolisher years later, if I don't count the Japanese variants. But so it's something where it was always this game of tracking them down. It wasn't until I worked at Burger King and when they had Transformer promotions that I get everything in one shot because I'm evil. I made sure to get it all. I still have a case of Cybertron Megatrons from Burger King. Still have a case of it, still to this day. It's not a good figure. Oh, it's not a good figure. Actually, like if you could probably see, it's blocking it, you won't be able to see it, but some of them are over there in the background. But that was the very first Burger King promotion that had Transformers. It was good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Michael Butcher, who do you think the next Haslab will be? Some people think Primus, some people think Broadside. I'm hoping Grandis or Sky Gary. I mean, there clearly is a pattern of Japanese stuff. I mean, and again, I still think Omega Prime should have never happened. I think that should have been a retail product like that. Star Saber, like there's HasLab items need to be big crazy stuff. They really do. And I will die on that hill. I get it. Like, look, Lyle Kaiser is cool. I get it. But Lyle Kaiser could have also been retail. Oh no, Proto, no one's going to want to buy those individual limbs as opposed to some of the other stuff that we're getting already. Like, yeah, we're not going to think about it this way, right? Put Lyle Kaiser on HasLab on a timed date in a difficult opportunity for financially for people to pick up, or have a capsule, Walmart exclusive Lyle Kaiser limbs. You know, I know why they do it. It's a financial reason. They make way more money through a HasLab than they do through a partnership like a Walmart or whatever. It's a little bit of FOMO. It's a little bit of taking advantage of the collector's, mentality. And they're able to charge $100 more than they normally would have charged if it was a retail product. And because it's direct market, they don't have to deal with distributors, so they technically also have a bigger profit margin. The numbers are better. When you get into the weeds of it, HasLab kind of is not, at least for Transformers, is not what the original mission statement was. HasLab used to be items too crazy for retail. Now with Transformers at least, HasLab is, hey, we have an idea. Let's see if we can make more profit from it putting it through the HasLab pipeline than before. If it's Primus, if it's another Unicron, then I take that back. That's what HasLab was for. Big old items. Because I haven't seen a Titan class in retail in forever. So at this point, a Titan to whatever you want to even label HasLab Unicron, he's his own price point. But I would even call it a price point. He's just his own size. But it is something where I just feel that HasLab needs to be big, crazy things. I want a crazy huge Grandis. I want a big crazy Primus. I want, Majin Zarek from Beast Wars 2nd, deep cut. I want that stuff. If you're going to do Lyo Kaiser, he better be huge, but he's not huge. He's just standard combiner. When you're going to get him, he's going to stand more or less toe to toe with our combiners that we have right now from Age of the Primes and beyond. So to me, that's what HasLab should be. If you're going to have this opportunity and when I mean Hasbro, I'm saying, if they're going to have this opportunity where they're able to get a large sum of money from the customer base, and Hasbro, oh wow, we just got $4.4 million from the backing of a HasLab item. Do they put that item right directly into the development of the product? No, that product has already been developed. That product has already been prototyped. That product has already been designed and planned and everything. The designers have already gotten paid. Like from top to bottom, all of that has been done. The only thing that's got to get paid is the factory work, the injection molding, the factory workers, and all the nickels and dimes over there. But once they get that 4.4 million, once the backing ends, they put that into investments. And then they sit on that for a year. And us, we wait. So it's only beneficial to them. It really is. Tom Laney, let's get a huge the Arc command base. Well, the Arc is one where it's like, I agree with you. It'd be cool to get that. But I'm pretty sure Hasbro also has a little bit of, I use the term Vietnam War flashbacks, you know, of how poorly the Arc, transformable Arc, uh, performed in retail. I think that was the last big Titan that really just hit clearance and hit clearance hard, like hard, hard, hard. To my knowledge, I don't know if General Techno's in the chat. I think he bought like 6 of them for customizing because they were so cheap they were going as low as $20 at some point. So pretty crazy. Big Easy, I have fries. The arms rotate out, the feet drop down, and the head flips out. It's well done. So the arms rotate out, flipped out. Yeah, just like the original Fry Force. Good old back in the day. This, like this right here. This is in the it's in the entities of my first like half dozen Transformers growing up, along with Micromasters and Blaster and everything. And that's my childhood one too, with all the damage, all the paint scratches there. So still have it to this day. Clark Clint, respectfully though, why do I care if I get a product that I want? Why do I care about how it's distributed, the money for the business after I purchase it? Because, well, to me, it's twofold thing. Number one, it's the FOMO that's created, that there's people that probably wouldn't have bought these products. They weren't interested, but because there's a FOMO created around it, now they go, well, I wasn't really interested, but now because if I do change my mind later, it's going to be a problem and the secondary market is going to be difficult. So I guess I might as well buy it. So it creates that, because once that door closes, the money just goes up in the secondary market. So it creates that. But the bigger problem is, hey, here's a leader class figure. We could charge leader class MSRP, but that same leader class, if it's a Haslab, is now $40 more. And that's something that I don't like, is that they take stuff that qualifies at certain price points and then they charge exponentially more. And that's always something that I'm not a fan of, you know? And it's not the fault of, the Hasbro design team. They're not the one that make those decisions. That's more higher up on the food chain that decide that, because they need to, they need to make their profit margins. Michael Butcher, I think Cybertron Metroplex was the last big Titan that hit hard clearance. Yeah, he did pretty bad too. I don't think he hit as hard as the Arc though, because yeah, I do agree. Cybertron Metroplex did go on sale, but I don't think he hit as low as $20 though. I think it was $20 or $25. I know it went really low. The Arc. The Arc was really low. And to be fair, Cybertron Metroplex was pretty awesome though. He's a pretty hefty figure. Just an interesting choice. I wouldn't have exactly went with him for our Titan of the year, but at least it was to scale, you know. Tom Laney, I seen someone took a Barbie dream house and converted to look like the inside of the Ark. Looks really cool. Well, yeah, girl toy products. I mean, I have an old memory. One of my Christmases many years ago, when we actually did get half decent presents, and I remember my sister got from, I think it was my aunt on my dad's side, sent her, like, we went to our Christmas tree and there was a huge box, and when I mean huge, I mean like television set huge. And I was like, what did my sister get? In the end, it was like the Barbie camper house, where it like transforms into like a house, but it was like a camper. And I was always like, man, girls get like, girl toys are, every single one of them is a USS Flag, because Barbie dolls are all 12-inch. Giggity. So it's like every single Barbie playset is like a USS Flag or like a Metro play or a Fortress Maximus. But boy toys, they're significantly smaller. Wrapped up presents back in the day. Card back stuff, little things here and there. Um, Stinkfist, what's up? Michael Butcher, oh wow, I didn't realize it went that low. Yeah, well, again, I wish so there's an individual who's known at TF called General Techno. He's a big customizer. And one of his things that he would do was he would take the Arc, and because they were so cheap at one point, as low as $25, he was just buying them up and then doing like customs. And I think there was one that he did, it turned into Cosmos, and that one sold very well at the charity auction. Definitely, I think that added like a good $1,000 right there to the Make a Wish. So props to General Techno on that one. But Big Easy, a Titan class broadside done right would be cool. Not only would it be cool, but if you do a Titan class broadside and you involve the GI Joe community, it could be like, hey, it's broadside, but it's also a transformable USS Flag. So your 3-inch GI Joes could still kind of live in that environment. That'd be really awesome. You know, that'd be really really cool. And considering that Super 7 right now is doing their Super 7 Plus, which is just pretty much normal GI Joe, 3-inch with the articulation. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I would dig that. Again, big crazy items. Big crazy items. That's what I want to see. That's exactly what I want to see. I look, I thought the Star Saber was cool. I thought the Deathsaurus was cool. The Omega Prime, it's only slightly better than the original, and I mean only slightly. I mean it doesn't speak Japanese like the original, and I think that kind of makes it cooler. Fire convoy, blizzard storm, fire. Like I prefer that. Um, but and same thing, Lio Kaiser is great because it gives people an opportunity to own that character. But they still reek of being retail products. Like Commander class uh, Jetfire from Siege. If you hold that figure and you hold Deathsaurus, it's the same weight of plastic, if not less, in Deathsaurus's case. Deathsaurus is actually a little lighter. And then you could argue, oh well, but what about all the little, breast formers and the throne and all of that? Yeah, that's to pad it out. That's to make you feel like you're not just getting a commander class figure from 2019, but you're paying 125, 150, $189, unfortunately. Horned Owl, yes. I would love a Titan class broadside. Yeah, I would like it too. I want big dudes. I want big crazy stuff. I don't want stuff that I just feel would end up in retail. But again, I know what's going on in the 3D chess of it, in that Hasbro needs to make money and Haslabs tend to debut and then end before a certain quarter of an investor, and being able to announce, oh, hey, look how much money we made. I'm honestly surprised that they haven't done like HasLab Magic the Gathering stuff and just bled dry that community, which I'm part of, but I don't engage in the whale activity of Magic the Gathering. I love Magic, but anything that involves excessive money or FOMO, I take no part in. It's a game. I love it. I collect it, but I also avoid any of that predatory activity. And unfortunately, a lot of that happens as a Magic the Gathering collector from Hasbro. So I try to avoid that heavily because goodness, you think being a Transformer collector is expensive. Those Magic guys are getting taken to town for cardboard. They really are. Uh, Fonhart says they likes big bots and I cannot lie. No other brother can't deny. When Grandis walks in with his itty bitty, you know, elevator in your face, you get sprung like a mini con. If you could get a Grandis, get a Grandis. What a great toy. Or if you can't get Grandis, get Doug Base. Cheaper. Much cheaper. And Doug Base is actually better, I find, like in terms of the extra sculpting and stuff. Comes with little decoys and everything. But yeah, I mean, again, I the only time to me HasLab really made sense was Unicron for Transformers. When I look at what they do with all the other stuff, I mean, I'm not going to argue the Hiss tank. That doesn't serve a place in retail. I'm not going to argue the Cantina, the Star Wars Cantina, like all the other brands, with the exception of the Tron one. That was stupid. That was really stupid. But the exception of the Tron one and a few others, most of them made sense for retail. That lightsaber that they did, come on, I was going to Best Buy and Future Shop and even like Radio Shack before that when that was still around. They were selling, Force Effects lightsabers in retail all the time. Why are you going to try to now sell a lightsaber as a HasLab? That's silly. Once again, that's missing the point. And no surprise that lightsaber didn't get backed. You know, that kind of stuff doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, done bottle number one. Now on to bottle number two. Drink a lot of water, people. It's good for you. But personally, me, I want Primus because I want something that could match the Unicron, you know? And it's the only thing, like, again, I'm thinking 3D chess, just like promoting it. You do Primus, you do the original Cybertron. You go to San Diego, there's the display. There it is in planet mode. You have Mark and Evan and Nate. Oh, this is going to be, the original planet Cybertron. We've been waiting 40 years for this to be done right since the days of Aaron Archer with Cybertron, and Galaxy Force. Like, I could totally see it being marketed right. And again, it's Planet Cybertron, so it's not like a deep cut. It's not something weird. It's like, hey, how many kids grew up on Lio Kaiser? Very little. They know Lio Kaiser because of fan subs that you watched online of Transformers Victory episodes, or a absolutely terrible DVD box set that was put out by Shout Factory. That's the only way that you know about Victory, or if you read the mangas by Viz in the past couple of years. So most people didn't grow up with it outside of the Japanese folk, and it's something where, but everyone knows Cybertron. It's the core basis of everything. And I don't have the numbers for the original, but maybe Aaron could speak for it in the chat. But that original one was great, and it clearly probably made some kind of numbers. Mind you, it's a big item, and it was re-released multiple times. There was the with battle damage Unicron head, without the battle damage Unicron head. There was a Minicon 4-pack in. And then I know Japan did their own deco of it for the 2010 line with Unicron, and then it had its own localization of it too, and a G1 inspired packaging. And then you have the G2 colored one in Age of the Primes. I know I'm forgetting something, but those are the 6 that I could remember of that tooling. So I'm sure they got plenty of, mileage with that one. I think that's it, though. I think it was just 6. I think it was just 6. Uh, Patrick Brown, yeah, I've been wicked dehydrated lately. Haven't been drinking nearly enough water. Well, that also comes from when you have a lot of sodium. Uh, this is probably going to come up at some point anyway, so I might as well answer now. So the wife she made today, she's an amazing cook as always. She took enoki with beef wrapped, Japanese beef wrap, and then of course she then puts soy sauce and then stir fries it with sesame seed oils, and sesame seeds and green onions. Zoom in on that goodness. Look at that. Oh, someone pays $40 at a restaurant for that. So she made that, and it's amazing. But in traditional Asian fashion, us white people, too much salt. So needless to say, a lot of salt today. Assault by the salt. Um, where are we at here? Alice Devil, I don't think you'd get those chrome accents outside of Haslab. Well, that's an unfortunate truth. I mean, we don't really see chrome anymore on most retail product, at least when it comes to Transformers. We'll still see chrome in other companies. Other companies don't have a problem putting chrome. I mean, Spin Master with their Bakugan stuff has chrome on it all the time, and they never have a problem with it. But then you see chrome on some Beyblades, and that's Hasbro Takara. I don't know. I don't know. Clark Clint, Proto, what exactly is the Brave series? The Brave series was after um, Victory and Zone kind of underperformed in terms of toy sales for Takara on the Japanese side of things of Transformers. Uh, a lot of the design team on the Takara side had a whole bunch of other designs that were planned for the next Transformer series. Takara felt that it would be wise to probably not use those designs for a Transformer brand and instead rebrand it for something that is a similar transforming robot related series. And that was the very first Brave series called Brave X Kaiser. And Brave X Kaiser, go back and watch it. You got the Dinobots, G1 Dinobots are in it, but they're bad guys and they combine. It's pretty wild. And they had designs that were originally intended to be whatever would have been the next Transformer series. You know, you could look at Brave X Kaiser, and that probably would have been Rodimus for all we know. He's a car with a trailer, you know, with literally a big trailer that he combines with. And it was successful, that first one, Brave X Kaiser, and they would continue on to do multiple iterations afterwards at the same time that Transformers is happening. So here's Brave X Kaiser. We're not doing animated Transformers stuff because they didn't do an animation, like a full animation for Zone. They didn't do an animation for Operation Combination. They didn't do an animation for Battle Stars, these G1 toy exclusive Japanese lines. This is, by the way, 91, 92, 93, 94. But they were doing these Brave series in Japan. So these were the animation partnerships that Takara was doing with transforming robot stuff. This would go on for years. Firebird, Jay Decker, Dagwan, Dangarn. I know I'm forgetting others. Goldtran, and the best of them all, Gal Geiger. Gal Geiger Final. I know I'm forgetting something, but the point is it's pretty much Transformers' cousin series. And if you love Transformers, you have to watch Gal Geiger. King of Braves, Gal Geiger. Watch that and watch Geiger Final. It was amazing. It's Transformers as probably the best it could ever be, in my opinion, that the Japanese could do. And you see a lot of similarities that you see from Master Force Victory and Car Robots, Robots in Disguise, the Japanese formula of toy production. So you're going to always have the good guy leader, three robots that are the sidekicks to the good guy. Maybe they're a combiner, maybe they're a brother team. And by the way, you could apply this to Pretenders, you could apply this to the Car Brothers, you could apply this to the Brain Masters. You're going to see a lot of similarities. The bad guys have a similar formula. Halfway through the series, the magic mushroom is introduced, meaning something that combines with the leader. So in Master Force, it was God Bomber to God Jinrai. In Victory, it was, of course, Victory Leo to make Victory Saber. In I could go on with Car Robots, of course, with God Magnus, Ultra Magnus to make Omega Prime, Godfire Convoy. All the Brave stuff does that same formula. And that formula would continue into the Unicron trilogy. So if you want a bit, Might Gain. How could I forget Might Gain? Damn, that one's really good too. Might Gain. So yeah, this is, again, when you have a million things in your head, I know more than people forget. Excuse me, I forget more than people know. Hey, whatever, you know what I mean. So it's just, but the point is that there was like just this animation partnership that Takara was doing on the side when Transformers wasn't having animation partnerships. You know, there were always like everything that was happening was with Transformers at the time on the Japanese side was here's a toy line, here's some story pages, and here's some manga. And that would like tail end of Zone, story pages, toy line, manga. Operation Combination, toy line, story page, manga. Battle Stars, although that came first, storyline, manga. And then even going into Generation 2, pack in storylines, manga, story pages, toy line. No accompanying fiction from an animation partner. So Brave was the fill in to that, and it's a sister series. It is so Transformers. It's robots that come from space that go into cars and befriend humans and fight other robots from space that are evil. It's Transformers. It's made by Takara. It's made by the same Takara team of designers. It might as well be, you know? And go watch Gal Geiger. Do yourself that favor. And Mike Gain's really good too, but Gal Geiger I would suggest above all of them. Cart Clint. So any of those Brave toys compatible with Transformer toys from around that time? Yes. If you have Duke Fire, Duke Fire was originally supposed to combine with Star Convoy, the original Star Convoy. And actually, I believe on my Twitter, I posted it. I took my Duke Fire and I combined it with Star Convoy. Because Duke Fire from Jay Decker was supposed to, at one point in the design process, supposed to be a fire truck hot rod known as Super Rodimus. You can look this up on Google Images. You can see what Super Rodimus was supposed to look like. A very inferno looking hot rod design. But that's what ended up in the end through design changes and character changes and planning. It became Duke Fire instead in Brave Jay Decker. But if you get the Duke Fire toy with all his chromy goodness and everything, he actually clips on and attaches to Star Convoy. The design is still there. The engineering is still there. All the ideas are still there. And there's a few other examples, but that's the most interesting one. If you own specific Transformer figures, what figures you could buy is kind of an upgrade to that, you know? Uh, where are we at here? Michael Butcher, are you excited for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green coming back to the Switch? Well, I mean, I have the original Pokemon Red with my 150. I never got 151. I only got 150. Uh, and I have Fire Red, which I never completed, I'm guilty to say. I bought Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance. I think I played it up to a certain point, and then I got distracted with probably like, I don't know at the time, probably a Mega Man game or maybe Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know what came out around that time. But I remember something pulled me away from it. And I had a Game Boy Advance SP. That was my go-to. But I do have five. I mean, look, hey, Pokemon is great. It's community. It's fun. Personally, I think I like the Omega Ruby remake because you were able to make your own base of operations. I like what X and Y did because you could customize your characters with hats and outfits. I like when you could personalize your trainer and stuff, not just your team. So that way, when you face other people, there's an extra layer of personality to it. So, but they never carry over and make a perfect series, which is kind of a shame. Clark Clint, just Googling Brave right now. Holy crap, there's an entire alternate Transformer universe and toy line. Yeah, you're talking 9 years. Like there was a period of time where there was no Takara media based transforming robot line. After Zone was done, there was nothing. So Brave picked up the slack. And Takara would always do that. It's not the first time that when you had the ending of Beast Wars and Beast Machines was slowly going to start becoming a thing. Now, keep in mind, Beast Wars was not a Japanese creation in terms of the media. And yeah, they did do Beast Wars second so they could get their own. They did do Beast Wars Neo so they could get their own. And what did they follow that up with? Web Diver. Ugh, I still got the box here. Web Diver. They were going to have alongside at the time when Beast Machines was on air, they had their own transforming robot media partner brand, which was Web Diver. After that, when we were finishing up with Beast Machine season 2, they had Car Robots. At the time, Car Robots was exclusive to them, their own exclusive transforming robot media brand. Now, Car Robots is obviously Transformer related, but there was this period of time where they'd always have something that was their own. And it still exists to this day. That's what we have here with our train stuff, you know? The Chique Leon, the bullet train transforming robot stuff that they do, which happens alongside with the Transformer media. But that's because they haven't done Japanese Transformer media in a long time. It's always been us doing it. Well, us, actually, it's the Americans. I'm Canadian. But it's always been the Westerners doing the Japanese media. So they're picking up the slack in a different area with a different branding. That's all. That's all it is. But it's amazing. Watch Gal Geiger. Gal Geiger, you won't regret it. You're going to see some awesome female transforming robots. You're going to see the most hot-blooded, badass transforming robots. Like, it's the best. It's the best. Um, yeah, it's a complete continuation of the. Keep in mind, it's all the same guys. It's all the same designers. You know, you're still seeing Kuniharu-san. You're still going to see Yuki Yoshima. Not Yuki. Yeah, Yuki Yoshima did some later stuff. He did Better Man stuff, which is another spin-off thing from Gal Geiger, but that's a whole other conversation. You have what's his name there? Kuniharu-san did some stuff. Uh, Kunio-san, who did some stuff also with Gundam, was part of it. It's a lot of great stuff. Where we at here? Brave Gal Geiger kind of looks like RID Armada. It's a little bit of everything. It's got fire trucks, it's got rescue vehicles, it's got stealth bombers, it's got all kinds of crazy designs. You got tanks, you got space shuttles. It's a little bit of everything. A lot of Brave toys were knocked off and released in the West at different points. I know specifically some of the Jay Decker stuff I've always seen bootlegged at bootleg stores. So Tom Laney, you wished Web Divers was here. Aaron and me talked about that. I don't know if we talked about it on a live stream but there was a time when just before Armada, there's a great photo. It's a picture of Aaron with the whole Takara design team when they were working on Armada. And if you look at that photo on their desk, I think it's in front of Kuniharu-san or Yuki-san. I think it's in front of Yuki-san. You'll see there's Galleon from Web Diver on the table because there was the discussion at one point of maybe bringing Web Divers over. What made it difficult was the plug and play element and how the Western audience would have, approached that you have to buy all these extra, components and stuff in order to play the game. It was more of a video game console from the perspective of Westerners than it was a toy. So that's why it didn't happen ultimately in the end. Although it's a cool show. CG was kind of its time, but I dug it. Great designs. Love the toys. I have a whole bunch of them here off camera. I wish I could show them, but the camera angle would not deem that. But what a great show. What a great show. Fun little show, fun, great toys, great music, you know? But it is what it is. We got a super chat from Hestian Shack. Do you think they will make a Diatlas or Volinger? Well, Diatlas, if they did do him, the problem is that they have to do enough to justify it being a Haslab, right? So the way that I see it, it's like, okay, if they do Diatlas, I could see them doing Diatlas and Sonic Bomber and Roadfire. Like doing the three of them together, which once again you can't see because the box is in the way. That's my zone display back there. But I could see the three of them being together and then they could do something. Look, Takara Tomy with their Transformers Legends line did a updated extensive redeco and retool into Diatlas, Sonic Bomber, and Roadfire. They did a box set which was like I think like $150 when it was all said and done. I could see them doing that, not just Diatlas. Diatlas alone wouldn't be justifiable. They gotta fill it out a little bit. And considering that Diatlas is so much larger than Sonic Bomber and Roadfire, they could totally do that because I could see a Diatlas being like a leader, and then two like Voyager scale Sonic Bomber and Road Fires getting away with that. Volinger, sure, I would love that because he's never gotten a figure. Um, a bit of a deep cut, three bug insect things that combine to make one big bug insect thing, and then when he's almost dead, becomes the living embodiment of the dead sparks of Decepticons, the dead god of them, if anything. It's something. Oh, did someone say Mike Sounder? Did someone say Mike Sounder? Mike Sounder is the greatest of all time. I mean, just uh, reach over for him. Good old Mike Sounder. Desire. Minton Box. Mike Sounder, the 13th. Love him. I always keep a Minton Box nearby. He was one of my delicious pickups from my last trip to Japan. Um, TFCon Twins has joined the Minicon recruits. Did that work? Yep. Got the green. You're back. You're good. Thank you for joining. But yeah, it's just going back to what I was saying, like Diatlas, it would have to be more than just Diatlas to justify it. Because then they're just giving you like a leader class for like $100 or 200. So meh. Media Max Proto, is Shia LaBeouf too controversial to return to the franchise? You hear he got drunk and arrested. He got drunk and arrested again. Well, that's never stopped any celebrity. You know, look at all the stuff that Robert Downey Jr. went through. Charlie Sheen, everyone else. Do you think all the stuff that Will Smith went through is going to stop him from doing movies or anything? You can't stop talent even when they have demons. I think Shia will be back. I think so. He has his hangups. He seems like an individual that would probably be. It's hard to just like. How do I explain this? So I'm a very talkative person. Anyone who's met me in real life knows that I could talk forever. I'm a very talkative guy. But when you're a very talkative person, you have to rely a lot on the body language of other individuals to know if they're done, so to speak. If they're done talking. Shia seems like the kind of guy that has what's called high tension body language. The only other person that I could compare that to is the Ultimate Warrior, Jim Hellwig, who's a wrestler. They were two guys that they feel like if you were talking with them, they'd always be uncomfortable where they are talking to you. No matter the cost. They're just like everything's a little like, hey Shia, what'd you have for breakfast today? What does that mean? What do you mean what did I have breakfast today? What do you mean by that? You know what I mean? Like I feel like that is the kind of guy that Shia is, which is a shame because I don't think he was like that before. I think probably Hollywood and fame and the stress of that kind of pushed him into that direction. But I hope he comes back because he is continuity. He is lore. He is part of that family, of that universe. And for him to just disappear, just like unceremoniously, is a shame. The success of the Michael Bay movies, he was on the ground floor of that. And for him to not still be part of that is unfortunate, you know? Love or hate, the original Star Wars movies, you don't do Star Wars movies without Mark Hamill, or Harrison Ford or Carrie Fisher and stuff. Like you got to have those key elements, even if you don't like those actors or characters. It's just it's a part of its DNA. Uh, no, this was years ago when we first talked about. I missed something here. I must have missed a conversation. I was trained shark couple, and I must have missed something from the conversation. MMA Panda, welcome to the YouTube membership. Thank you for joining. Always good to see your name, the MMA Panda. Clark Clint, Proto, do you think the design for Megas XLR was based on Armada Optimus? I'm telling you something. the entire crew who worked on Megas XLR are huge Transformer fans. I think it's on YouTube. There's this behind the scenes footage from Teletoon. Teletoon was like a cartoon channel back in the day. They were showing behind the scenes of the creation of Megas XLR, and in one of the offices of the animators, they had a custom made, and you have to understand this is like 1999, probably no, Megas XLR was like 2003, 2003 I think. He had a customized Scorponok G1 1987 Scorponok turned into one of the villains. There's a lot of Transformers love in Megas XLR, and keep in mind the very first time Peter Cullen and Frank Welker reunited to do a fighting robot story was Megas XLR. Go watch that show too. They did a really good episode of them coming back. Although Peter and Frank ended up, I don't want to spoil. Go and watch it. It's really good. It's really, really good. But Megas XLR was, I don't think he was based off of Armada Optimus. He was just, there was a lot of similar designed 70s and 80s Sentai robots that have a similar kind of car sits on the top transformation. More specifically, Turbo Ranger, not Power Rangers Turbo, Turbo Ranger, which to my knowledge debuted in 89, 90. What year was that? But they were doing something similar, big transformation with the red car on the top. Again, not Power Rangers Turbo, Turbo Ranger from the Sentai side of things. Clark Clint. I was a kid at the time and I loved that show. It's a great show. Great show. Chicks dig giant robots. Can't argue with that. I dig giant robots. We dig giant robots. Chicks dig giant robots. Nice. It's awesome. Alden Tolber with the $5 super chat. Did you already miss Sentai? If is yours inside will be crying for weeks. I feel it's not the end of Sentai. I think it's just taking a hiatus. And the only reason why I say that is as someone who follows Japanese SF, science fiction, live action stuff, toku, all the other big brands, Ultraman took a break and then came back. Tiga. Kamen Rider took a break, came back. X, RX, you know? And then, of course, the most infamous of them all would be Godzilla. Took a break, came back. So I think that it's the old saying, I quote wrestling all the time, Dusty Rhodes, you can't miss me if I'm not gone. I think Sentai needs to go away from Japan for a bit. It's been going nonstop for a long time. Very long time. Nonstop. Talking like the late 60s. While all the other things I mentioned, Godzilla, Ultraman, Kamen Rider, they all took breaks. Ultraman came from the 60s, Godzilla, in the 50s, but Kamen Rider, the late 60s, early 70s. But they all took breaks and gave Japan a chance to miss them. Sentai didn't. And not only did Sentai not take a break, but it then went to America and became bigger than it ever was in Japan when it became Mighty Morphin, where you can't say that about Godzilla, you can't say that about Kamen Rider, and you can't say that about Ultraman. And I love those brands. But let's be real, all their attempts at taking over the West were not as big as Power Rangers was. So I think that there's been so much. And keep in mind, Mighty Morphin and their American equivalencies are also imported back into Japan and dubbed over there too. So you would have the Japanese Sentai version and the American version dubbed in Japanese at the same time in Japan, which is wild. Way too much product. They're going to take a step back from the business side of it. Sentai product, big robots, big DX transforming robots, big role play items, big with bells and whistles and action figures. They take a lot of space in retail in Japan, space they do not have. We've said this in the past in the podcast. Every time they do big clearances of Sentai robots, those are the first things that go are those big DX robots. There's a lot of things they need to take a step back and breathe and then reevaluate things. It'll be back. I don't think it's dead. Nothing ever is gone forever. Street Sharks came back. Cowboys of Moo Mesa came back. Inhumanoids came back. Visionaries are coming back. Nothing stays dead forever. And when you're talking big brands, I just mentioned Street Sharks. Street Sharks was never successful. Cowboys of Moo Mesa was never successful. Biker Mice from Mars was never successful. They were fun. They are great brands. I collect them, but they were never like big name success. You don't take stuff like Power Rangers or Super Sentai and you just tuck it away forever and never revisit it again. You're letting it late rest, get dormant, and then you come back bigger than ever. So it'll be back. I'm not worried about it. If anything, it's great PR to just go goodbye, goodbye, Super Sentai, sayonara. And they do this whole dramatic thing celebrating all the Red Rangers. I'm seeing all the stuff on YouTube, of course. And then like, oh, it's all emotional. We will miss you and everything. And then when Superman's dead and he's been gone for a year or two, when you do that Superman Returns, oh, it's a big deal. It's the same thing. You can't miss me if I'm not gone. And that's what's happening here. So it's straight up, they're taking away the brand, making people be sad. Oh, it's too bad. It's gone. Well, why didn't you buy the product? Oh, I was busy. Okay. Well, it's sad. It's gone. Oh, we'll miss you, Super Sentai. And then you come back in 2 years. Oh my God, the return of Super Sentai. And whatever that new series is going to see a bump in viewership and a bump in interest. So that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. It's the oldest trick in the book. It's the oldest trick in the book. They do it with comic books. They do it with everything. Clark Clint Gaming, what is your opinion on Metal Carbot? Fantastic designs, preschool level storytelling, which is a shame, but understandable for its market. It's made for the Korean market with a slight import into the Chinese market. It's for preschoolers. There's a lot of shows that have a similar kind of vibe and idea. You know, I love they look great. They are cool looking figures. But the problem is that they're tied to a show that is literally made for an audience that is Rescue Bots level. So that's my only negative. But cool designs. Very cool designs though. Don't get me wrong. But the show is not my vibe. You know what I mean? But cool designs. Joseph, what's up? Joseph on the bullet train in China and still watching. Lucky you, bullet trains. Wish we had those here. Wish we had those here. How is China, though? You're there, obviously, during the New Year, enjoying the good time of Chinese New Year. I actually had a little bit of a Chinese New Year dinner with the other side of the family. They're not Chinese, but we had a Chinese New Year dinner. It was good. Mini Force is another one. Shelf warmers. Yeah, that's another one of these Korean design. Mini Force is an example of let's take Power Rangers and let's take Transformers and let's take the best aspects of both of those with Sanrio, meaning like cute animals. Fuse those three together, the Triforce, and that was Mini Force, which you can watch on Netflix right now. And if you watch Mini Force, it's clearly a lot of cool designs, but clearly aimed at preschoolers. You know, which is like, hey, as a toy design thing, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool, but made for preschoolers, you know? So, Stinkfist 69. Hope I'm still alive when Exo Squad makes a comeback. I love the 90s cartoon action figures. Anything is possible, my friend. Anything is possible. I would have never thought, honestly. So I'm a huge fan of crappy 90s toy lines. I wish I could show you guys the other room. All crappy 90s toy lines. Biker Mice from Mars, Cowboys of Moo Mesa, Street Sharks, Bucky O'Hare, um, Mummies Alive. I know I'm forgetting stuff. There's so many. There's so many of them. But like I love crappy 90s toy lines. And every single one of them in some shape or form has come back. Mighty Max is coming back. They're doing Mighty Max revivals soon. They already did some third party ones, but they all come back sooner or later. If it has any kind of name equity with that demographic of 90s kids or 2000s kids, there's a chance to pull it back. As long as there isn't some kind of legal like loophole that makes everything difficult, it's able to come back. Inhumanoids is coming back. Insectoids is coming back. Everything is coming back. If not for a moment, it comes back. Look, they tried to bring back Street Sharks. It didn't do well because, let's be real, the original Street Sharks did okay. And now it's gone. But it had a moment. It'll come back. And guess what? When those trademarks have to come around in 5 years or 4 years or 3 years, and Mattel goes, oh no, we got to do something, they'll contact Super 7, they'll contact Mondo, they'll contact somebody, and there'll be another Street Shark item. And Street Sharks will be back again. And like Joseph said, Street Sharks for life. You know, I got the latest Street Sharks item from Mondo. I love it. Here's Ripster's head. Here's Ripster going through the ground. Street Sharks for life. You know, Filmation Ghostbusters. Ooh, that's gonna be. See, there's the legal tough one. That's the tough legal one. Cadillacs and dinosaurs. They always Cadillacs and dinosaurs or xenotopic xenomorphic tales. That's like its original name. They always have like a comic book comeback every so often. Every so often they bring it back. Cadillacs and dinosaurs, not under Cadillacs and dinosaurs though, but under its original name. TF Con Twins, Bionicles will come back. Bionicles will come back. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Bionicles will come back. Lego is just, you know what it is? Lego is waiting for the dark times again, for Bionicles to save them. In the time before times. Let's put it that way. Bionicles will come. Barnyard Commandos, they already had a comeback. They already had a revival series. Galaxy Rangers is freaking amazing, and I hope that one day that comes back. That is a amazing 90s cartoon that had a sleeper of a toy line and an even more sleeper of a show. I'm waiting for my Bots Master revival. Where's Bots Masters? That's my 90s wish list revival. Where's my Bots Master revival? The problem with Bots Master is the ownership of the show right now has been reverted back to Haim Saban, and now it's in like limbo. So we don't know really who owns Bots Master right now. But I guarantee if Mattel had it or Hasbro, they would have done something with it already. No guts, no glory. No pain, no game. All for one and one for all. Riders on the rain. Galaxy Rangers, man. Check it out. Check it out. Rangers are forever. Man, Galaxy Rangers amazing. Their DVD box sets were incredible. They did 2 of them. So well done. Mighty Orbots. Mighty Orbots just had a Kickstarter recently for the Mighty Orbots Combiner team for $220. I didn't back it, but that was literally 3 weeks ago. Mighty Orbots is having a revival, and they already did a Kickstarter for it. This was very recently. Very recently. Look it up on type Kickstarter Mighty Orbots, you'll see. Or Indiegogo, it was one or the other. I think it was Kickstarter. Everything has a revival sooner or later. If there is any kind of brand recognition of value, they'll do it. You're not going to see like Snailians making a comeback, or I'm trying to think of something weirder than Snailians. Army Ants. Maybe Army Ants. I can see Army Ants coming back, but you never know. Like Battle Beasts, they tried to bring it back with Beast Saga, it didn't work out. They'll wait another like 15 years and then they'll do it again. Spiral Zone was a great show. That was a Japanese brand. So I could see Japan bringing it back one day. Like you guys know it as a Western cartoon and toy line, but it has a huge Japanese origin and toy line too. So I could totally see them like Zoiding it, as I call it, because Zoids was kind of Western and then Japanese and then Western again. I could see them like doing something like Zoids where they bring it back. But yeah, everything comes back sooner or later, my friends. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. I used to believe in the early 2000s when I was not as wise a man as I am now that this stuff would never happen. But I mean, as I'm talking to you right now, I have it right on my desk. I might as well show you guys. You know, as I'm talking to you right now, I'm literally holding the Cops and Crooks PVC line. You can see I took out a little certain long arm there. They made these recently. Remember Cops fighting crime in a future time? They recently did a PVC set. I picked this up from Big Bad Toy Store and I pulled out Long Arm because he's my favorite. There he is right there. Long Arm of the Law. You know? Cops. Anything. Victory says still has his army ants. Do you still have the rubber butts on them? They always get lost. The rubber butts and the singular accessory. They always get lost. I'm waiting for Mighty Ducks, not the sports movie, the Disney cartoon to get its revival. You know, have Wild Wing make his grand return to television. You know, so many, so many. But yeah, I'm telling you, anything is possible. Anything is possible, my friends. Are you sitting on some rare Pokemon cards? I have a lot of first edition stuff because I bought that stuff when I didn't think it was going to be worth money. I was an early adopter of Pokemon back in the day. Shadowless cards, which are so you have first edition Shadowless and then base set. Shadowless was all over Canada. I have two Charizards, Shadowless. I have a lot of valuable Pokemon cards. I don't buy modern really today, but I have a lot of old stuff. I have old boxes. It's on my Twitter. Not on my Twitter, my Instagram. You could go look for it. I got stuff. I got stuff. You got all the colors, the greens and the purples, and the little weapons. I love army ants. That was such a funky little line. I had a friend of mine. Um, he had a huge army ants collection. This is when we were kids, and his living room. His mother like had tons and tons and tons of plants, like potted plants and stuff like this. And we used to go in that living room and just play army ants. But like we'd because he has all these potted plants, it was really fun for like guerrilla warfare and jungle warfare. So it was really fun. And we were like 7 years old at the time. It was so fun playing with his army ants. But the weapons were like everyone came with only one weapon, and it was so easy to lose those weapons, and you couldn't like swap them. So you were kind of like, if you had the machine gun army ant, you were stuck with that machine gun. If you had the army ant that was carrying the big missile, or there was like a karate army ant, they were fun. Love them. Love those guys. So cool. I have a few still. I know that like through the years of going to toy conventions, whenever I find them cheap, I pick them up. But, now everything's expensive. Now like army ants go for like $5 a piece. Food fighters. Oh my God. I'm always trying to find cheap food fighters. They always go for big money. It's never easy. Never easy. TFCon twins have Proto Man? What do you mean have Proto Man TFCon twins? I have every Proto Man. I have like every Proto Man figure ever made. Um, Victory. I now put solid stake Figmas in my plants. Yeah, well, there you go. Looks cool. It works for the aesthetic. But that's why I remember like his mom just had like a million plants in the living room for like whatever reason. And so when we'd be in the living room, it was fun to like play with the army action figures because he just had like it was like the plants and it had like the potted plant. The pot was so big that you could like play around them because like the pot rim was like almost flat, so you could have the figure stand on it, and it was always fun. Always fun. I have a lot of great memories, like because I didn't have a lot of toys growing up, but whenever I went to like my friends who had a lot, I had this one friend, I don't want to say his name just for his own privacy, but he had like every Micro Machine Star Wars, like everything, every play set, every little figure. And like you'd set up the Hoth, you'd set up Endor, you'd set up Yoda's like little base layer, and then you'd have like the big opening Death Star, and then you'd have all the Micro Machine heads that open. And then we'd go to town, man. We'd have so much fun with that. TF Twins, how many Bionicles do you have? Proto Man, stupid typo. A lot. A lot. Growing up, Bionicles came out when I was already 16. Uh, when Bionicle first came out, the only Bionicle I had was Mr. Tahu over here. I bought what do you call it? A whole bunch of the McDonald's ones that they did, the McTorrens, as we call them. And every time they did a McDonald's promotion of Bionicle, I'd pick those up. But at the time, because I didn't have a lot of money, I only bought like, I would buy like one set every so often. Then, after Bionicle finished in 2010, I had money. It's my first job working as a BMW mechanic. All of a sudden, Bionicle was so cheap. I probably have, God, of every Bionicle set ever made between 2001 and 2010, not the Generation 2 stuff, I probably have 70% of it with the capsules or the boxes. It was so easy at one point to get all that stuff. It was crazy. It was crazy because people were just getting rid of it. And it was just a different time. It was like right when like the Michael Bay movies were popular. And the only thing that clicked in my head was because I went to a toy convention and there was some guy that was just selling a bunch of them. And then I was asking him, like, oh, like, and keep in mind, like Bionicles, what's great about them as opposed to other Lego stuff, they come with a capsule that you could just kind of, you could just kind of store everything in there. You just, scrunch up Tahu, bend him a little bit, and just put him inside there. And he was asking nothing for them. And I was like, damn, why is he asking so cheap? And then I looked online and I'm like, oh my goodness, like you could get like all the Toa, like all six of them for like at the time $20. And I was like, crap, like I'm gonna buy everything. So I got a lot of it. Like, no joke, in my garage, like I have tons of Bionicle. Tons. Tons and tons and tons. Because it was just cheap. It was so cheap and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Which was a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff that I bought. I always bought it like at a time when no one cared. And then like now it's like now to buy vintage Street Sharks, you're talking $50 to $100. But back then I was buying vintage mint and box Street Sharks for like $20 because nobody cared. And that's always, that's kind of the pattern with toy collecting is sometimes you got to buy when it dips and then later on people care. And then there's not much left in the secondary market. That's always the case. Oh gosh, Beyblade. Woo! Are you kidding me? I was buying, like, no joke, like I was buying a treasure chest of Beyblade parts and pieces at one point for like nothing. I would go on to like before Facebook Marketplace was a thing. There used to be this. I don't know. Does it still exist? Kijiji. We use Kijiji. It's like Marketplace here in Canada. I would go on there and I would just type Beyblade or Toupee as it's called in French, which means top. You know, Beyblade Toupee, and you'd have like a mom with a Beyblade stadium and like 70 Beyblades and parts, and they're like $10. Come and get it. It weighs more than it's worth because of all the metal. And I just come running. You know how much of that stuff I have. Oh, again, now it's different. Now, like I got like this is a museum I live in. This is a museum I live in of a house. Like I'm a big toy collector, but I always am looking for the deals, going to the cons, finding that stuff. Ninjatron, does Kijiji still exist? It must still exist. It probably still does. Why would it not exist? Stinkfist, the only thing I have from McDonald's was the 90s was the uncut card of the Pro Basketball USA team. You're referring to the Dream Team from back in the day? TFCon Twins jealous. We're getting into Bionicle mood right now, and even loose, they're expensive. Never mind mint and See, it's crazy. It's crazy because like that stuff, people were giving it away. But that's what's going to happen. Look, let's give an example of something that's contemporary now, right? So what's hot right now? Tell me, I'll let whoever's in their 20s today in the audience, what is the hot thing right now? Like what is hot right now with kids? What do you think that is? Feed me that while I read some other stuff here. Rudy Mack, Kijiji still exists. I just sold a Studio Series 86 hot rod there last week. Oh, okay, so it still is kicking. Well, I used to go there all the time. Now the problem is, and I said this to my wife too. I was like, the problem is that having knowledge in toys used to be a heavy advantage because it used to be back in the day, if some person found this loose in the wild, they didn't know what it was. So they'd be going, I don't know what this is. Put it for $1, right? Now they have Google Eye and they literally do this click, and then this goes Rescue Bots, Megatron. Here's the 5 eBay listings and how much they sold for. So now, as a toy collector, your knowledge doesn't matter anymore. You can't like get good deals or anything because everyone who has a phone who has zero knowledge is able to figure out the value of stuff. So those days of like getting these great deals are kind of long gone, unfortunately. Once in a while, you still have a grandma that doesn't know anything, but those days are long gone, unfortunately. So let's use Skibbity Toilet, Michael Butcher, right? Do you think 5 years from now, there's going to be a huge influx of like Skibbity Toilet toys, like the Skibbity Toilet toys that are right now in Walmart, right? There's probably going to be an influx of them on Marketplace and Kijiji and anywhere else, and people are going to be unloading them, getting rid of them. Ugh, I don't want these Skibbity toys. And then you fast forward 10 years, 20 years, and then people are going to be like, oh, dude, remember that vintage 2025? You're going to make yourself sound old. Remember the vintage 2025 Skibbity toilet toys? Oh, man, I used to love those as a kid. I wonder if there's any out there. And that's what starts that trend. Right now, TFCon Twins is looking for vintage 2001. It's old now. 2001. Vintage 2001 Bionicles complete. Good effing luck, you know? But 10 years after Bionicle debuted in 2010, after it ended, people didn't care and they were getting rid of it. Uh, let's see. I wouldn't say shonen. You can't just say a genre. You have to say like a toy line or something, you know? Among Us is already gone. Like Among Us has kind of already ran its course. It's kind of on its way out. But it's the same thing. There might be in the future. There might be something where people are going to have a craving for it. And again, it's been gone. Now people want it back. You know, like Club Penguin. You know, or trying to think of like for a 2000s kid. 2000s kids, it was Beyblade. Beyblade was huge in the 2000s for kids, along with Bionicle. TFCon Twins used to have the OG Toas and Rakshi, best thing ever. And what happened to them, mister? I'll tell you what happened. You got bored and you got rid of them. And then they got bought up by people like me. That's what happened every single time, you know? It's a story as old as time. Look, when I was a kid, because we didn't have a lot of money, we went to thrift stores all the time. My father loves vinyl records. He was the only way you could find vinyl records was thrift stores back in the day. And we used to go all the time. And my God, if I could if I could look at what I was looking at back then today, I'd go to thrift stores and there was Castle Grayskull, Shira's, Palace of Power. Here's all of these gem dolls. It was just this cornucopia of everyone getting rid of toys because they're bored of them. Today, now people go on eBay and they look at prices, and even like people like there is a 60-year-old, 70-year-old French Canadian guy who doesn't know how to use the internet, but he knows how to use Google Eye on his phone, and he's able to figure out the price of every single thing that he finds in a garage. And then he starts asking hundreds of dollars for it. That's why video games are expensive. That's why you're not going to find deals on comic books. If they could read a video game cover, they could read the box or the label, they're able to get the price on things. There goes Tahu. Ugh. But yeah, Rudy Mack with the $2 super chat. I got my $5 ready for my Hot Rod NFT. Well, assuming those NFTs even exist, if those even exist anymore. The people who did unfortunately get those NFT Hot Rod Funko Pops, they're sitting on them waiting because those were people who invested and are hoping to cash in one day. When Funko dies, I'll be there with you. I'll be there with you. Michael, but I think I still have my Bionicles. Well, you should dig them up. Dig them up, and I'll let you know what's valuable. Because some of them go for pretty decent coin now. Brutaka. I had an extra Brutaka that I sold. I sold it, gosh, I think 2 years ago or something, or 3 years ago. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. I got $70 for it. Didn't even have the mask. It had everything else, though, but it didn't have the mask. Good old big Brutaka from Bionicle. We shall see. It's not a matter of will Funko be gone. It's Funko Pop. I think Funko will still exist as a company. It's just Funko Pop might not go away because they have their claws in a lot of other things too. But Funko Pop might just regress a bit. I don't think it'll ever go away. It's too big. They'll dial it back and not do as many stupid things as they normally do. They're finding a lot of success with their Funko itty bitties. They're finding success with their Funko brands that aren't Funko, like Mondo does Funko stuff and everything. So they make money there. But the company as a whole will not go away. And that's coming from me, who isn't a fan of Funko Pop. I'm just being honest. You know, the one thing you got to be grateful when you're dealing with me, guys, is my feelings and the facts will never overlap. You know, I hate Funko Pop. I think it's stupid, but I also can't deny what it is as an entity, I can't deny it. That's the reality of it. If you're going to argue, you got to be honest, you know? So, and we are already past 2 hours. Oh my goodness. We've been yammering for a while. By the way, here's another cool figure. Finally opened up my helmetless Mega Man figure. Look at it. So cool. Look at that. The red on the feet there. Looking awesome. Looking awesome. But yeah, everyone, we are done for tonight. Thank you for all the love and support. We had a good talk today. Thank you, Michael Koo, for the crazy box of stuff. The payday will be enjoyed, although I'm going to definitely have to pace myself with them. Again, TFCon LA is coming up hot. We'll keep you posted on what's happening with that leading up to it for TFCon. A lot of good stuff. Just got to figure out what we're going to be doing. But otherwise, again, thank you for all the love and support. If you want to keep supporting the podcast, again, check out that Patreon link down there. Come join us on the Patreon. Gets you in the end credit scroll, gets you in our Discord, although we got to figure out what's happening with Discord because Discord's going through some drama recently. Thought we'll just move everything to another server. It's no biggie. But, come join us. Patreon, the link's down there. Patreon's going to be factored in soon enough with some future TFCon stuff, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, otherwise, take care of yourself, your friends, your family, your loved ones. Be sure to check out the Mega Man comic book written by me, Mega Man X. Issue number 1 is out in stores right now. Pick it up before it sells out. Otherwise, yeah, like Ninjatron said, go buy the Gal Geiger Blu-ray DVDs. Go buy some Gal Geiger, go play some Gal Geiger, go watch some Gal Geiger. I'm out of here. Take care of yourself, and as always, peace.